All right, welcome back. Week 2. Hopefully everyone's had a nice week, stayed warm, and hopefully safe from these icy sidewalks. Today we're going to actually start our practice on our feet, and we're going to continue to work through just some good mobility, some balance, and of course always a little bit of stretching through our flows today. So you can come sort of to the top portion of your mat and actually just sort of close your eyes and take a few sort of random steps and just find like a good comfortable position where your legs are slightly hip distance apart and your arms are just nice and relaxed beside you. You can choose to keep your eyes open or closed, and we're just going to start with some breath work here. So you'll just start by taking some nice, easy, comfortable breaths in and out through your nose, just whatever that looks like to you, coming in and out. But as you're doing that, we're thinking about that engagement of our diaphragm. So as you breathe in, you want to feel that expansion through your belly, through your rib cage, and then sort of maybe feeling your chest lift up as you pull that air in. And then when you exhale, it all sort of contracts together as you push that air out. So just keep on taking some of those easy breaths here. And we're going to consider today for the start of our class and have a little body scan and just sort of consider how we're feeling. So as you're taking these breaths in, just have a little assessment here from the top of your head, through your neck and shoulders, all the way down through your arms, your waist, your hips, thighs, knees, calves, ankles, and feet. How is everything feeling this week? How's everything just feeling in this moment? Any areas of tension? Maybe try to shake it off now. Relax your jaw. Relax those shoulders. We're going to start deepening our breath here. So all together, let's take a nice, slow, full breath in, all the way through the nose, belly, ribs, chest, full expansion. We're going to hold our breath at the top here for 3, 2, 1, and then exhaling through our mouth, nice and slow. We're going to do that again. Inhale. Holding for 3, 2, 1, and exhale, let it go. Good. One more, just like that. In. Nice and full. Holding at the top for 3, for 2, for 1, and then exhale, let it go. Beautiful. We're going to start to sort of heel toe, maybe a little bit closer with our feet here. We're going to actually start from the bottom and kind of work our warm up through the top. So with our feet, we're looking down at our toes. We're going to do a little bit of like what I like to call toga. So starting by just elevating all your toes up off of the mat. You're going to just pull them all up into extension and maybe see if you can spread your toes nice and wide from your pinky toe all the way to your big toe. Just spread them as wide as they'll go. And then you'll slowly lower them back on the mat. And we're going to just do that a couple times here. Lifting, spreading all the toes, seeing how much sort of toe disassociation we can have here. And then let them drop again. One last time, lifting them up and then spread them nice and wide. I find when I look at my toes, it's like I'm imploring them to get a little wider here. Good. And then release them. From here, big toe. You're going to extend that big toe up towards your ceiling. You're pressing your little toes down into the mat. So just getting that big toe to lift. And then we'll reverse it. Squeeze, press that big toe down, and then try to lift all your little toes up off the mat. However that may look for you. And then switch again. Little toes down, big toes up. And then last time, big toe pushing down, little toes, try to extend those up towards your ceiling. You got it. And then relax. And then from here, we're gonna do this sort of little ankle warm up mobility. So just to start, we're gonna think about just sort of rolling side to side here from each lateral edge to the sort of inner edge of our feet. And we're just going side to side here, kind of seeing what that motion feels like in our body, how much stiffness we may be feeling, depending on if you've had ankle injuries over your athletic career. You know, maybe you're hearing some crunching. As long as there's no pain, we're just kind of assessing here how things feel. Good. And now we're going to go from the outer edge on both feet to the inner edge and moving side to side in that motion. Beautiful. And now we're going to sort of rock forward and back. So from our heels to our toes, almost like you're doing a little mini calf raise here. You know, get your knees and hips, soft knees involved, and we're just sort of rolling and rocking back and forth here, coming up a little bit on our toes. Beautiful. And now we're going to get into some of that lateral motion with this rocking motion. So starting from the heel to the outer edge, we're going to roll and then come up onto our toes, and then rolling back down on the lateral edge of our foot to our heel. And just kind of do that 3 times. Nice and easy, slow and controlled here. Beautiful. And then coming back down. And we're going to do that on the inside plane of our foot, rolling through our arch, up into that calf raise, back to the heel, peeling in and up. You got it. One more. For all these icy sidewalks, we want good, strong, and stable ankles. Good. You can kind of shake that out. And from here, we'll bring our legs together. We're going to circle our arms up above our head. Take an inhale, looking up towards the ceiling through our fingertips. And then circle your arms back down beside us. And just roll the shoulders 3 times towards the back. And then 3 times forward. Beautiful. From here, we're going to do a slow roll down into our first forward fold. So tuck our chins in and just slowly roll in our spine all the way to this forward fold. Again, taking any note here, how the mid back, how the low back feels, and keep your knees bent as much as feels comfortable for you. Your hamstrings might feel tight in this position. We're just going to hang here and give ourselves 3 nice full breaths in. Breathing in through the nose. Exhale, let it go. In again. Exhale, release. Last one, in. Exhale, let it go. Good. On our next inhale, we're going to come into our flat back position. So your fingertips coming to your shins or your quads, whatever feels more comfortable. Squeeze those shoulder blades. You're looking forward down onto the ground, and then we'll fold forward again on that exhale. And then inhale, press yourself to stand all the way from your heels all the way up, circling arms overhead, looking through those fingertips. Exhale, hinge at your hips, fold forward, let those arms hang. Last time in this little half salutation. Inhale into that flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale again, rise all the way up to stand. Beautiful. And from this position, arms open up over our head. Our legs and thighs are still squeezed together, and we're going to sink down into a chair position. So a couple of things to note when we're in our chair. How low you squat is totally up to you. You're thinking about literally sitting down into our chair. Squeeze the thighs together. It'll help for any of the quad and calf tension. Trying not to overly arch your back. You still want to think about some core engagement. The bottoms of your ribs, top of your pelvis, kind of coming in together so you're not hurting and compressing that low back. And then your arms, depending on your shoulder mobility, they can be a little bit lower if that feels more comfortable, but you just want to keep them up as high as they can go. From here, we're gonna get into some shoulder mobility. So opening our arms up into a T shape, rotating those palms and arms behind us. Maybe you can clasp your fingertips together or just grab on to one of your wrists. And from here, we're gonna inhale, straightening our legs, standing up, and come into a nice little pec stretch, pulling our arms straight, being easy, because it might feel really tight as we're just getting warmed up. Beautiful. Release those arms, circle them up above your head. Right hand grabs onto left wrist. Inhale, reaching that shoulder up. Exhale, everyone's gonna bend over to their right. Beautiful. Inhale, coming back up, release the hands. Exhale, sink back down into that chair position. Taking a few breaths here. We're gonna come back to that shoulder mobility. So open those arms up into that T shape, rotating the shoulder. Your palms are now facing behind you as your arms start to come behind your back. Again, interlacing your fingers or clasping that wrist. And then we press up to stand, getting a bit of a pec stretch here. Beautiful. Release the hands, circle them back up. Switching sides, left hand grabs onto right wrist. Inhale, reaching up, exhale, bending over to your left side. Inhale, up, release the hands. Exhale, sink back down into that chair. Maybe you can get a little bit lower. And also in this chair, making sure you're sitting back into your heels. You should be able, if you look at my toes here, to lift all your toes up off the mat. You don't have to do that, but I just want to ensure that your weight is distributed on your heels. Beautiful. Couple more breaths here. Maybe see if you can sink a little lower. Beautiful. One full breath in. Exhale, fold forward into our forward fold. Beautiful. From here, inhale into that flat back. Exhale, squat down, hands come beside your feet. Step back with control into a high plank position. Squeeze your butt, squeeze your core, push yourself away from the mat. Have your fingertips extended, feeling like your palms are little suction cups on your mat. We'll just take a few breaths in this plank position. Beautiful. Give me a slight bend in your knees and then shift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. First down dog of the day. Let's pedal out our heels, alternating, dropping one heel towards the mat and then the other. Beautiful. And then come to just gently press your heels towards the mat, pressing your chest towards your quads here, keeping as much of a knee bend as you need to. Beautiful. From here, we're shifting back forward into that high plank position and bringing our left leg forward to the outside of our left hand. From here, you'll simply drop your back knee onto the mat and we'll come up into a kneeling lunge. Arms rise up above your head. Beautiful. From here, take a breath in. As you exhale, we're twisting to our left. Good. We're going to get into a little flow here with our twists. Inhale, circling back forward, arms above head. Exhale, twist to your right. Inhale, forward. Exhale, twist. Inhale, forward. Exhale, twist. Inhale, forward. Exhale, twist. Last time. Inhale, forward. Exhale, twist. This time from the twist, we're staying in this position with our twist open up towards the right. From here, your arms can drop down by your side. We're just simply going to be lunging forward, but in this side twist position. You can use your front hand to try to, you can just rest it on your knee or to help ensure that your knee is not tipping in, depending on if your inner thigh and hamstrings are tight. We're just going to the side here. We're keeping our torso in that twist. We're just gonna lunge forward and back a few times, make any adjustments. I really want everyone to feel like they're getting a good calf stretch here. So if you need to bring your foot in a little bit, that's okay. We're just going forward and back here. Beautiful. Coming back up. We're going to come back to center. Hands are going to drop down onto the mat on the inside of that left foot. You'll tuck your toes on your back leg under, lifting that knee up off the mat. We're going to come into a world's greatest stretch. So with that left elbow, we're kind of pressing it down, and then we're going to rotate up into a twist towards the ceiling. Hand up, looking up at your hand, taking a few breaths here. Really getting some good rotational action for our spine. Taking some nice full breaths in and then exhaling it out. Beautiful. Bringing that arm back down to the mat. From here, left leg shifts back, hips up, downward facing dog. Same thing. Feel free to pedal it out here or just hang out in a nice static downward dog. Keeping your ears between your biceps. Again, hips shifting all the way up. We're in that inverted V shape. Beautiful. Shift your body back forward into that high plank. Right leg comes forward to the outside of that right hand. Drop that knee to the ground. Inhale, reaching those arms up above your head. From here, exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, up in center. Exhale, twist to the left. We're just going back and forth. Mobilizing our T-spine here. Getting a good stretch through our hip flexors. Beautiful. Last one, we're going to stay open to this side towards the left. You can drop that hand down if you want to have your right hand kind of guiding that knee, making an adjustment if you need to bring your leg in to feel that calf stretch. We're just lunging into this calf stretch from this position, keeping our torso open towards the left and just going down and up a few times. Beautiful. Couple more. Good. Last one, we're coming back up into that kneeling lunge, rotating back forward. Hands come down to the mat, tuck the back toes under, lift that knee up, bringing our elbow down towards the mat, and then we rotate and twist open into this nice twisted low lunge, or otherwise known as world's greatest stretch. Taking a few breaths in here. Beautiful, bringing that hand back down to the mat. From this position, we're actually going to step our back leg forward to meet our front leg. And then you can heel toe your feet and legs together. Inhale into that flat back position. Squeeze those shoulder blades. Nice length in your spine. Beautiful. Exhale. Fold. Inhale, pressing into your heels. Come to stand. Circle those arms up above your head. Exhale, hinging at your hips. Swan dive forward into that forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, squat down. Hands beside your feet. Step back with control into that high plank position. From here, slowly lower yourself all the way down onto your belly. Maybe you come down onto your knees first as you lower. From here, you're coming onto your forearms, still pressing down. We're just going to take a couple of Sphinx spinal extensions. So forearms pressed down. You want to think almost like you're trying to drag your spine forward and then peel your chest up off the mat and then lower. Inhale, lift. And then exhale and lower. Move with your breath here. Good, last one. Inhale, lift. And then exhale, lower. Beautiful. Slide your hands by your armpits. You can tuck your toes in. And again, press yourself up to a plank position, whether you're starting on your knees or pressing all the way up. And then hips shift up and back, downward facing dog. And from here, we'll just slowly step our feet towards our hands, meeting at the top of the mat in that forward fold position. Inhale into our flat back, exhale, fold. Inhale, pressing into your heels, coming all the way up to a standing position. Circle those arms above your head. Exhale, hands come together through the center of your chest, and we're back in our mountain pose, and we'll just take a couple of breaths here. In through the nose, nice and full. We're gonna hold our breath for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then slow exhale through our mouth. We're gonna do that again. Full inhale. Holding that breath for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale, let it go. Last one, full breath in. Holding for 4, 3, 2, 1, and then exhale, let it go. Beautiful. From here, circle the arms above your head, take an inhale. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. From here, slight squat into the knees. We're stepping our right leg back behind us. We're in a lunge here. We're gonna raise our arms above our head, and we're going to open up, putting that back foot at a 45-degree angle, arms open up. We are now in warrior 2. Make any adjustments you need to. I'll come to face this directions. If you find that initial position, you need to make adjustments of how wide or narrow your legs are. Absolutely, this is your chance to do that. You want to feel like your front knee is not wavering in too much, but that you've got a good, strong base. And the same thing with the back leg. The foot can actually be parallel to the back of your mat or at that 45-degree angle. Again, just depending on how hips, ankles, and everything feel. And then you want nice, strong arms, standing tall in this lunge. Good core position. Beautiful. We're going to do a couple of little flows here between our warrior positions, extended side angle, and triangle positions. So to start, we're going to inhale, reaching front arm up above us, reversing our warrior. And then when we exhale, we're coming into extended side angle. Our front arm now lands elbow to knee, and our right arm comes up over our head, stretching, reaching up almost in a diagonal from our leg, back leg, right leg to our right arm. We're gonna keep going back and forth like that. Warrior 2 to reverse your warrior, and then coming forward. You got it. Breathing with the movement. Good job, everyone. Last one. We're back into this extended side angle. We'll come back to our warrior 2 position with our arms straight. From here, moving into triangle, that front leg starts to straighten. Our back hip kind of pokes out from behind us. So you'll start to feel a stretch through the front inner thigh, groin area. And from here, flip the palms to face forward. And then we're gonna windmill them back down. Your hand kind of drops to the inside of your leg, and we're in our triangle position. You can keep a soft bend in that front knee. Again, you don't have to lock anything out if it feels uncomfortable. And we're gonna do sort of the same thing. We're just gonna flow up with our arms and then back down. And just make this stretch for that inner thigh a little more dynamic. So just coming up and down a few times. Beautiful. Last time, and then we're gonna pause in our triangle and just give me 3 nice full breaths here. Beautiful. Coming back up to stand. From this position, I'll shift where I'm back facing you. We're going to point our toes to the side of our mat now. So now our legs are nice and wide, and we're going to come into a straddle pose. So hinging at our hips, keeping nice length in our spine as we start to fold forward. You can then start to have your hands come down towards the mat. And again, make any adjustments here with your legs as far as how wide the pose is, because you're going to feel this through your hamstrings. Taking a few breaths here. Beautiful. Let's start walking our hands towards our right leg. You can bring your left hand sort of to the outside of your right calf, and then bring your right arm up into a twist. Beautiful. Coming back down, walking those hands all the way to the left. Same thing. Right hand to the outside of that left calf. Rotate up into a twist. Beautiful. Coming back down. From here, hands come to your waist, and you'll lift yourself back up to standing. That back leg, we're going to bend it a lot and pivot to bring ourselves back to the front of our mat. Inhale, circle those arms up above your head. Exhale, hinge forward into that forward fold. Inhale into that flat back, same as before. Now for the other side, slightly bend those knees. You're going to kick that left leg back into that lunge, bringing our arms up, open them up, and we come into our warrior two, lunging forward on that front thigh. Again, making any adjustments you need to with your legs here. Standing nice and tall, good strong arms. You're looking forward through that front arm, your right arm, the middle fingers. You got it. Maybe smile. Beautiful. From here, let's reverse our warrior. Left hand comes up, right hand to the back of our right thigh. And then we come into extended side angle. That right arm folds into our front quad, and we reverse again. Moving with your breath. From that, reversing our warrior into that extended side angle. Beautiful work, everybody. Last one. And from our extended side angle, we'll come back up into our warrior two. Taking a few breaths here. Good, let's get into our triangle pose. So we're flipping our palms to the side, left side of our mat. That front leg straightens, back hip kind of juts out behind us. And we windmill our arms back down. That right hand is on the inside of our leg here. And again, soft bend in the knee if you need it. Taking a few breaths, and we'll do the same thing, making this movement dynamic. Coming back up, and then windmilling the arms down. And taking notice here, left side to right side. One side of your groin, inner thigh muscles might feel a lot more restricted than the other. This movement might feel a little more fluid, left side to right side, and that's okay. Good, and then we'll pause and triangle here, looking up towards your fingertips and ceiling, and take a few breaths. Beautiful, coming back up to standing, same thing, we point our toes to the left side of our mat, adjusting. So from here, I'll give you a couple of options for our next fold into this straddle position. If you choose to and feel like your shoulder mobility and like your pecs need a little deeper stretch and that you've got good shoulder mobility, you can absolutely interlace your fingers and have them behind you as you fold forward and sort of elevate your shoulders up. I have a bad shoulder, so that position never feels good to me, but I'll leave that as an option. Otherwise, just have your hands on your hips and we'll fold forward. And then your hands can come down onto the mat again. And this time, you'll just sort of walk your hands through your legs. And you can almost use them, your fingertips, to pull you a little deeper into this stretch. And you can also play around with your foot positioning. Your toes pointed out and toes pointed in. Those are two very different feelings for your hamstrings. So you can kind of see what the body is asking for today for your stretch. And then we're just taking some nice, easy breaths in and out. Beautiful. You'll start to, with control, bring yourself back up to a standing position. If your arms were behind your back, you release them now. Same as before that. Back leg bends and we sort of pivot forward back to the front of our mat. Good. Inhale, circle the arms up. Exhale, just bring them down through the front of our chest and back to our side. From here, we're going to get a little more into some hip, dynamic hip stuff and the backs of our shoulders. So from here, you're going to take a slight bend in the knees. We're going to start with that right leg. We're going to step it back again into our lunge position, bringing your arms straight out beside you this time. So from here, you're going to bring your right arm underneath your left as we come forward. And we're going to come into eagle arms. So depending, again, on your shoulder mobility, if this is not accessible for you, just lock your elbows and have your arms in a T shape. And I'll come to the side to show you how this position should be. So from this position with your eagle arms, everyone should try to lift your elbows and pull your arms forward so you can really feel the stretch through your upper back, through your rhomboids, your traps. You really want to feel like this is giving you a lovely, lovely stretched feeling. From here, we're going to make this dynamic for our lower body too. So we're going to breathe in this position. When we exhale, we're hinging forward, almost like our elbows are going to like kiss our knees. And then we're going to come back up. Beautiful. Lower. Exhale when you lower. Inhale when you lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Two more. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Last one. Exhale, lower. And then inhale, lift. From here, slowly release those arms. And then we'll come back to stand at the top of our mat. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we'll just simply step that right leg back, extending those arms out. This time, left arm comes under the right arm into those eagle arms. Again, lift the elbows up, press the hands forward, feeling that upper back stretch. And let's get into our little eagle warrior flow. Inhale from this position, exhale, hinging forward. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward. Inhale, lift. Beautiful. Good. Last one. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. We're back up. Gently release the arms and coming back to stand. Amazing. Circle the arms above the head. Inhale. Exhale. Hinge at those hips. Swan dive forward. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, squat down, hands beside your feet, step back with control into that high plank position. Slowly lower all the way down onto your belly. From here, coming into Cobra, pressing that chest up towards the sky. If you want from this position, you can squeeze your quads, lift your knees up off the mat, coming into Up Dog. Otherwise, just keep your legs on the mat and feel it for your upper back, and then slowly lower. Beautiful. From here, our next position, we're going to start with winding down into our mat work. We're going to do some scorpions. So depending on who's on the call here, if like me, you find that sometimes this movement doesn't feel comfortable on your chest, I like to keep my elbows bent and keep my chest slightly lifted. Otherwise, you'll position your arms in a T shape and keeping your chest a little more lowered towards your mat. From here, we're starting with our left leg. Bend that knee, foot is up towards the ceiling, and we're lifting it and bringing it over to tap the ground beside us, coming into this nice spinal twist, and then coming back to center and switching sides. And we're just gonna go back and forth. Bend that right leg, bring it over, getting a beautiful twist to the spine, feeling it in the low back, a little bit into our hip flexors. Beautiful. One more on each side. Awesome. Coming back where your legs are all down on the mat. Beautiful. From here, let's have our left arm reach back, squeeze that left heel towards our bum, grabbing the top of your ankle. Again, if you need to grab a strap, a shirt, a towel to help you with this position, that's awesome. Do so. Otherwise, just using your hand, grabbing the top of your ankle. From here, trying to keep your low back sort of feeling that there's length there. You're going to slightly tuck your tailbone under and drive your left hip down into the mat underneath you. Hopefully this kicks up the intensity of the quad stretch in a good way. And again, just trying to pull that heel towards your bum. And we'll just take a few breaths here. Keeping that hip driving down into the mat underneath you. Beautiful. Release that leg, nice and easy, and switch sides. Right arm goes back, right heel towards your bum, grab on to the top of that ankle. Same thing, thinking about slightly tucking that tailbone under, driving that right hip down towards the mat underneath you, intensifying the depth of this quad stretch. And we'll just take a few breaths in this position. Beautiful. With control, just let that ankle go. Bring your hands back up towards you. We're going to come up into a tabletop position. From here, we'll just get in a couple of cat-cows. So similar to last week, think about your cat-cows more like a wave action from your pelvis up to the top of your spine versus just hinging kind of in the middle. You want to think about your pelvis and your ribs and your spine kind of moving with lots of fluidity here. And you're just doing it as fast or as slow as you want. Just trying to move with your inhales and exhales here. Beautiful. And we're all going to come into this fully flexed position, this cat position, where your tailbone's tucked in, your head is nice and relaxed. You're really pushing away from the mat, pressing your ribs up towards your ceiling. And from here, You're going to give me 3 nice full breaths, and you're really thinking about breathing into your rib cage here, expanding all the little muscles, intercostal muscles that are in between your rib cage. And then letting it go powerfully through your mouth. You're going to do that again. In, out, in, and then out. Good. And we'll come back to a neutral table position. From here, we're simply going to come back into a kneeling position, sitting on our heels. Bring your toes together and your knees will be slightly apart. And from here, we're just going to get a little stretch to the fronts of our ankles. We did a lot of good balance work and some ankle mobility at the beginning. And so now we'll just stretch out the tops of our ankles. So I like to just think about slowly peeling my knee up off the mat as I'm pressing my foot down. Make it nice and easy. This can definitely feel a lot if you've got stiff ankles and don't have very good plantar flexion. So just take it nice and easy. You can also have a towel or a blanket kind of helping to cushion under your ankles here. We're just going back and forth a few times. Beautiful. And then we're just going to come to turn around and sit directly on our butts. All right, from this position, I'll do it from this angle. We're going to come all the way down onto our backs, keeping your knees bent, feet flat on the mat. To start, you're going to get into some hip and glute stretches. So with your right ankle, bring it across your left knee. We're in this nice figure 4 position. And you're going to reach around, pulling your left knee towards you, grabbing the back of that left hamstring, pulling those legs towards you, feeling the intensity of that stretch. Maybe your right elbow can help kind of push that right knee away from you. But with your left leg, I want you to try to keep your shin parallel to the mat. And just give me a couple of little ankle rotations. You see a theme here. Rotating a few times to the left and a few times to the right. Maybe you'll point and flex, wiggle those toes. Feel like our feet don't get enough love. Beautiful. Even from here, see if you can straighten that leg, get a little hamstring stretch while we're stretching through our hip and glute. You can make it dynamic and just pop that heel up and down a few times. Beautiful. And then lower that foot back down onto the ground. From here, we're going to take our twist of the lower half all the way to the left. So drop those knees. You're still in that figure 4, but you're dropping them all the way to the left till your foot hopefully can touch the ground. You're going to take that left hand and kind of secure your ankle. Maybe you can pull a little closer to you. See how that feels on the right side of your hip and glute. And again, trying to think about pushing that right knee away from you. And then your right arm will just come out into this T shape and you'll look towards your right hand. And we'll just take a few breaths here. In and out through your nose, nice and easy. But again, as you're breathing in, you're kind of feeling through the right side of that hip. Every time you breathe in and all the little muscular and connective tissue starts to expand, see how that feels. Practice or play around rather with how deep your breaths are, how full those breaths get, and how that feels around the side of your waist and your hips. Beautiful. We'll come back to center and you'll release that leg and we'll switch sides. We'll bring that left ankle across our right thigh, and then reaching in, pulling that right knee towards us, grab behind your hamstring. This side for me is always way tighter. So I definitely feel it a lot more. Again, using that left elbow, you might want to help press your left knee and thigh away from you. And with your right shin, you're trying to keep it parallel to the mat, and give me a couple of little ankle rotations to the left and to the right. Point and flex those toes. And maybe you're pressing that whole foot up towards the ceiling, getting a little work in for the hamstring here. Beautiful. And then drop that foot down, and we'll come into our rotation. So knees and hips twist to the right. Using that right foot, you're kind of anchoring that with that ankle, locking yourself into this position. That left arm is in a T shape. You're looking over your left shoulder, trying to pull that knee away from you. And then just concentrate on some nice full breaths here. Beautiful. Bringing those legs back to center. Release that leg. And from here, for your last position, I'll leave it up to you. You can extend both legs down and come into Shavasana, or you can have your feet together and knees spread open into butterfly. Whatever feels better for your body today. Just try to have a nice, comfortable position for your head and neck. Take up as much space as you want. You're in your own living room, bedroom, kitchen, basement. So extend your arms out, your legs out to wherever feels good. And we'll come back to some breath work here. So from here, thinking about really filling up through that belly and that rib cage, we're going to breathe in together. Take a nice full inhale. We're holding our breath for 4, 3, 2, 1. And then like you're pressing your air out like through a straw, we're going to exhale together. It's almost like the sound a tire makes when you're letting the air out. Breathe in. We're holding. And then exhale together. Inhale. Holding. Keep holding. And exhale. Beautiful. If your knees were in butterfly, bring your legs together. You're in Shavasana, you can bend your knees, bring your feet back onto the mat. Slowly find your way, rolling onto your side, and gently press yourself back up into a seated position. Thank you all again for zooming in on a nice cold Saturday at lunch. I really appreciate it. Hopefully this gives your body a little bit of love. Maybe it's an active recovery day, and you can enjoy the rest of your weekend. There won't be a class next week because I'm away, but I think we'll be circling back in February.